If you are over 70 and afraid of death, listen to what I prepared for you. My precious child, I know it might feel deeply unusual to hear me call you a child today, especially now, as you look in the mirror or glance down at your own hands, seeing the undeniable map of over 70 years drawn upon your skin. The world looks at the silver in your hair, the slower pace of your steps, and the lines around your eyes, and it calls you a senior, an elder, someone whose most vibrant and defining days are supposedly folded away in dusty photo albums. But I want you to know, right here and right now, that when I look at you, I do not merely see the passage of time. I see the little one I formed with my own hands. I see the very same beautiful, eternal soul I breathed life into so many decades ago. To me, you are always my beloved child, and I have never stopped watching over you, not for a single second of these 70+ years. I am speaking directly to your heart right now, because I know the exact, crushing weight you are carrying in your chest today. I see you when the house gets quiet. I know the profound, echoing silence that settles in the rooms where there used to be so much noise, so much rush, so much vibrant life. I see you sitting in your favorite chair or lying awake in your bed at 2 in the morning, feeling a sudden, heavy ache that has absolutely no physical source. It is the ache of memories, yes, but it is also the heavy, silent dread of what lies ahead. I know what you are afraid of. I know that you are afraid of death, and I want to tell you, with all the tenderness in the universe, that I understand. You do not have to hide this fear from me. You have spent your whole life being strong for everyone else. You were the provider, the caretaker, the rock for your family, the one who held everything together during the storms of your 30s, 40s, and 50s. You were taught to be brave, to swallow your fears, to march forward and never show weakness. But now, as you navigate your 70s and beyond, the physical energy isn't quite the same, and the horizon looks entirely different. The finish line of this earthly journey is no longer a distant, abstract concept. It is something you think about every day. The antagonist you are facing isn't just the ache in your joints. It is the relentless ticking of the clock, the fear of the unknown, the terrifying thought of stepping out of the body you have known for over 7 decades into the vast mystery of eternity. I see how this fear isolates you. The modern world moves so incredibly fast, constantly chasing youth and tomorrow, while you are left feeling like you are standing still, carrying a burden no one else seems to understand. You watch the news, you see the world changing, and you feel a profound sense of displacement. But more than that, you carry the grief of goodbyes. You have had to say farewell to friends, to siblings, perhaps to a spouse. With every passing, the reality of your own mortality knocks louder on your door. I was there with you at every one of those funerals. I collected every tear you shed in the dark when you thought you were completely and utterly alone. I am not here to condemn your fear or to tell you that your faith is weak because you are afraid. I am not a distant, untouchable God preaching from a cold throne. I am Jesus. I am the Savior who wept. I am the friend who understands the fragility of the human frame. You are so tired, my child. I see the profound weariness of your soul. You are tired of carrying the mistakes of a lifetime, wondering if you did enough, regretting words spoken in anger decades ago, and thinking that somehow, by holding on to this guilt, you are paying a necessary penance before you meet me. Please, let go of that heavy backpack today. I did not create you to be a beast of burden for your own past, nor did I create you to live your final years in a state of paralyzing dread. Your suffering is real, the loneliness is palpable, and the fear is completely human. But I am stepping into your room right now. I am sitting beside you. I am reaching out my scarred hand to yours. Breathe. Just breathe, my beloved. You have carried this burden for far too long. I have seen your secret tears, and I understand exactly how tired you are. Let me hold you. Let me begin to show you why you do not need to fear the journey home. My dear one, I want you to take a gentle breath and look back with me for a moment. Do you remember how incredibly fast it all went? It feels like just yesterday you were in your 20s, filled with an endless horizon of time, feeling invincible and rushing eagerly toward the future. You spent your 30s and 40s building a home, building a family, building a career. You were entirely consumed by the beautiful, demanding chaos of providing and surviving. The days blurred into weeks, the weeks melted into years, and the years rapidly turned into decades. You were so busy taking care of everything and everyone else that you barely noticed the subtle shifts. You didn't realize when the horizon stopped looking like a boundless dawn and started looking like a setting sun. Along the way, the world taught you a very heavy lesson. It taught you that to survive, you had to protect yourself. Every time your heart was broken, every time someone you trusted let you down, every time you faced a severe financial crisis or a devastating medical diagnosis, you picked up a brick. Without even realizing it, you began to build a thick wall around your heart. You thought you were keeping the pain out, but over these 70+ years, those walls have grown impossibly thick and high. And now, in the quiet of your senior years, those same walls are trapping you inside with your own fears. The world and its endless worries slowly drained your peace, replacing it with a quiet, persistent anxiety about what comes next. For decades, you found great comfort in being the one in complete control. You drove the car, you paid the bills, you made the rules, and you fixed the problems for your children and your spouse. But now, the antagonist you face is the relentless reality of time, and it is entirely out of your control. Your body, which was once your reliable and sturdy tool, now dictates its own terms to you. The daily aches, the growing list of medications, the frequent doctor's appointments, they all serve as a constant reminder of your own physical fragility. This loss of control is terrifying, isn't it? It is the fertile ground where the fear of death grows perfectly. You are afraid because stepping into eternity feels like stepping into the ultimate unknown, where you can no longer manage the outcome. But I want to gently dismantle that agonizing fear today. You see, the great illusion of your youth was that you were ever truly in control to begin with. The truth, the beautiful, profoundly comforting truth, is that I have been the one holding you all along. You just couldn't see my hands because you were gripping the steering wheel of your life so tightly. Now that your hands are tired, now that your earthly strength is fading, you feel like you are falling into a void. But you are not falling into an abyss, my precious child. You are simply finally letting go, and you are falling directly into my eternal arms. Long ago, I gave you a promise. It wasn't a strict demand, and it wasn't a harsh condition for my love. It was a secure shelter specifically built for the fragile season of life you are in right now. I inspired the psalmist to write Psalm 91 just for you, for this exact moment when the fear of the end feels paralyzing. I promised, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust." Read those ancient words with me today. Feel the profound, unshakable safety in them. The shadow of the Almighty. When you were a very small child, did you ever hide behind your father or mother when a frightening storm came, finding absolute comfort just standing in their shadow? That is exactly what I am offering you now as you face the twilight of your earthly life. The shadow of death that terrifies you so much is absolutely nothing compared to the powerful shadow of my protection. I promised in that same beautiful psalm that you shall not be afraid of the terror by night. I know the nights are the hardest for you now. I know that is when your house is the quietest and the anxious thoughts of mortality are the loudest. But my refuge is not a place on a map. It is my living presence wrapped tightly around your weary soul. You lost your way, not because your faith was flawed, but simply because you are human. You let the loud world convince you that death is a dark, lonely, and final end. But I have conquered death. I walked out of the cold grave so that you would never have to fear it. The walls you built to protect yourself are no longer needed. I am your true fortress now. I am the faithful keeper of your remaining days, and I hold the keys to the eternity you are so afraid of. Let my words sink into your tired bones today. You are entirely safe under my shadow. My precious child, listen closely to my voice right now. I know exactly what the enemy whispers to you in those silent, anxious hours of the night. He tells you that your time has simply run out. He points to the calendar and the fading strength in your bones, and he lies to you, saying that it is entirely too late to find peace, too too late to mend your heart, and far too late to be truly ready for eternity. The world operates on a very strict, unforgiving clock. In the world's eyes, if you haven't achieved everything by the time you reach your 70s or 80s, the opportunity is permanently gone. But I need you to understand a profound, liberating truth today. My grace does not operate on the world's clock. My love is not bound by the ticking hands of your watch or the tearing pages of a calendar. In my kingdom, there is no such thing as too late. Do you remember the story I told long ago about the workers in the vineyard? Some men woke up at the very break of dawn and worked under the scorching, exhausting sun for the entire day. But there were others who were not hired until the 11th hour, when the sun was already setting and the day was almost entirely gone. When the time came for the master to pay his workers, he gave the exact same beautiful, full reward to those who had only worked one single hour as he did to those who had labored all day long. The world calls that unfair, but I call it grace. I share this with you today because I want you to see that the reward of my peace, the absolute assurance of your salvation, and the comforting embrace of my presence are not things you have to earn through decades of perfect behavior. You do not need a time machine to go back and fix the mistakes of your 30s or 40s. You do not need to carry the agonizing burden of unfulfilled resolutions into your final years. Whether you have walked closely with me your entire life, or you are just now, at 75 or 80 years old, turning your tear-filled eyes toward me for the very first time, my arms are equally wide open. The 11th hour is not a time for panic, my beloved. It is the perfect time for a breathtaking, miraculous rescue. I know you look back at your long life and see a tapestry filled with frayed edges, dropped stitches, and dark threads of regret. You wonder how you can possibly present such a flawed piece of work to your Creator. But here is the magnificent turn of my grace. I do not ask you to fix the tapestry. I ask you to hand it over to me. When I hung on the cross, I looked at the thief beside me. His life was over. He had no time left to do good deeds, no time to apologize to those he had hurt, no time to rebuild what he had broken. He was literally moments away from death, terrified and completely out of options. But in that final, desperate breath, he simply asked me to remember him. And what did I tell him? I did not demand a list of his sins. I did not tell him it was too late. I said, "Today, you will be with me in paradise." My child, that same immediate, overwhelming, and unconditional grace is flowing directly toward you right now, in this very room. You do not have to clean yourself up before you come to me. The time that remains for you on this earth, whether it is measured in days, months, or years, is perfectly sufficient for your complete redemption and total peace. It is enough time to let go of the heavy guilt that has crushed your spirit. It is enough time to finally forgive yourself, just as I have already forgiven you for every single misstep. It is enough time to allow my perfect love to entirely cast out your paralyzing fear of death. You do not need to cross the finish line breathless, terrified, and carrying the heavy luggage of your past. I want you to drop the bags right here. I am stepping in to carry the weight. The transition from this life to the next is not a violent tearing away. For those who hold my hand, it is simply walking from a dimly lit room into the glorious, eternal sunshine of your true home. You are entirely safe with me, my beautiful child. Now that you know how deeply I love you, and now that you truly understand that my grace is more than enough for the precious time you have left, I want to gently guide your next steps. I do not want you to simply listen to my comforting words and then go back to sitting in your favorite chair, staring out the window with that same heavy, paralyzing dread settling back into your chest. I have a very specific, beautiful plan for your remaining days, and it is a plan of profound, unshakable peace, not of fear. The world outside may think your active years are completely behind you, but in my eternal eyes, you are stepping into the most spiritually rich season of your earthly journey. The path to peace is not complicated, and it certainly does not require the physical strength or the boundless energy of your youth. It only requires a willing, open heart. I am going to walk this exact path right beside you, and here is how we will do it together, starting this very day. First, I want you to completely change how you wake up in the morning. For so long, the very moment you open your eyes, your mind immediately rushes to the physical aches in your body, the doctor appointments marked on your calendar, or the quiet, lonely emptiness of the house. From tomorrow on, before your feet even touch the floor, I want you to speak directly to me. You do not need formal, complicated, or lengthy prayers. Just whisper in the quietness of your bedroom, "Lord, I give you this entire day. I give you all my fears about tomorrow. I trust you completely with my breath." When you do this, you are actively handing me that heavy, invisible backpack before you even try to stand up. You are allowing me to carry the immense weight of the unknown so you can simply breathe and enjoy the morning light. Second, we need to gently clear out the old, dusty, locked rooms of your heart. You are carrying bitter resentments that are older than some of your own grandchildren. There are people who hurt you decades ago, and times you disappointed yourself. The paralyzing fear of death very often grows in the dark, hidden corners of unforgiveness. Today, I am asking you to practice the gentle, liberating ministry of release. If there is someone you need to forgive, do it in your heart right now. If they have already passed away, speak the words of forgiveness out loud into the empty room. I promise you, I will hear it, and I will honor it in heaven. And most importantly, you must finally forgive yourself. You did the best you could with the wisdom and strength you had at the time. I have already washed your slate completely and permanently clean. Do not hold on to the spiritual debts that I have already paid in full on the cross. Let them go. The lighter your heart becomes, the less you will fear the journey home to me. Third, I want you to consciously and completely shift your focus away from the grave and firmly toward my eternal kingdom. The enemy wants you to obsess over the physical process of dying. He wants you to be entirely consumed by the fear of your final breath. But I want you to look just one single second past that breath. Death is not a dark cliff that you fall off into a terrifying, lonely abyss. It is simply a bridge, and I am standing directly in the very middle of that bridge, waiting with my scarred hand stretched out specifically to you. When you close your eyes for the last time on this earth, you are not ending. You are truly, finally beginning. You will open them to see my face smiling at you. You will hear my voice call you by your true, eternal name. You will be joyfully reunited with those who walked this path before you in faith. Spend your remaining days anticipating that glorious reunion, not dreading the departure. You are not walking alone, my precious child. I am with you in the quiet mornings. I am with you in the long, slow afternoons, and I will hold you securely through the darkest, loneliest nights. Your final chapter on this earth is not a tragedy. It is the breathtaking conclusion of a beautiful story that we wrote together. You are safe. You are loved. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Leave your burden in the comments below. Type, "I receive your peace, Lord." And please, subscribe to the channel so we can continue to walk together every single day. I am waiting for you.